people of the world. I know many of you know who I am, and by many names. I know there has been a lot of talk in recent days about our actions, and I assure you everything you have heard is correct. You see, for too long, we have stood idly by as the world continues to devoid itself of puffies, muffins, and goodwill towards one another. So, after sitting down with my council, we have decided to rid the world of this naughty business. We will be relentless. Our resolve is strong. No amount of cookies, no amount of milk shall weaken our determination that is but forged with elven iron. So remember, you better watch out. You better not cry. And so help you if you pout, for I am telling you why. We are coming to town.
I gotta tell you, I'm loving the new studio that we have right now. We've got the full green screen. We're all properly mic'd up. Charlie finally got his crazy severance package and will never leave again. And we finally had enough to rectify the ending to How I Met Your Mother in our hearts. Bet you're wondering, how did we run into all this money at the same time? Well, let me tell you, it came down to the generous donation and unused government funds of one man.
After holding back $1.1 billion in funding for vets, the minister blatantly misled Canadians when he announced $200 million for mental health over 6 years, when he knew that the truth was that it was over 50 years. He knew that.
We've seen the government, the Conservatives, since they formed office, leave $1.something billion off the table that they'd promised to veterans and then just didn't pay out, rolled back into the general treasury.
All right, so Fantio had $1.1 billion in unspent funds to go with other things that the government really didn't spend on, and instead of putting it into veterans funds like he was supposed to, he kind of made a back alley deal, and now, well, we're balling. All right. Furthermore, we took this money and we reinvested it using his same plan. So let's take a look at our graphic here. This is Steven and Charlie's salary on the show right now. And that's what I told them they'd be getting around 5 or 6 years. But instead of 5 or 6 years, I took the Fantio coefficient and made it 50 years. And I also said I was paying them in yen from Chuck E. Cheese, Japan. So basically, they get nothing, and I'm sitting here in this wonderful leather chair that Steven will never get to use. Touch it and die, sir. Touch it and die. Alright, so here we go. Gets even better than that. Because Charlie and Steven make nothing in Chinese, Japanese, whatever, ease yen, they have to go ahead and file for low income. Something that I got to take a hold of because I have their social insurance information, and I reinvested it into TFSAs. Why is that such a good idea? Because a couple of rich old white guys did it, and now we have this.
Tax-free savings accounts have become wildly popular with Canadians since they were introduced in 2009. But there's a few people, they want to try to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and they're investing in something speculative. And the hopes is that when they do hit it big, all that money will be tax-free. Well, now the Canada Revenue Agency is saying, we're going to audit a few of these people because their balances are too high.
And that's basically how we did it. I'm not complaining, they're complaining, but I don't need to listen to them because, hey, if Fantino doesn't have to listen to them, neither do I. And that is the story of how we did it. So, with that out of our system, we finally get to move on to why we're all here today, ladies and gentlemen, Canadians, not Canadians, whoever wants to watch this. We're here because it's the Christmas season, and who better to talk to me about the Christmas season than Conservative Member of Parliament, Nina Grewal. Hit it, girl!
Mr. Speaker, religious and ethnic communities from around the world come to Canada to find freedom, peace, and a better way of life. Canada has a long tradition of pluralism, tolerance, and respect for the traditions of others. It is truly wonderful that all faiths can celebrate openly here in Canada. But, Mr. Speaker, political correctness is diluting Christmas in a well-intentioned but unnecessary attempt to be inclusive. How can we, as a society, join together to celebrate Diwali, Chinese New Year, Hanukkah, or Vaisakhi, but at the same time rob Christians of the true meaning of Christmas? Mr. Speaker, as a Sikh, I'm not offended when Christians celebrate Christmas in a traditional way. Rather, I'm pleased to celebrate with my Christian friends. True diversity means respecting the traditions of all Canadians, including those of the Christian majority. So please join with me in wishing everyone a very Merry Christmas.
Why is this no one's talking about it? Nobody. No one's talking. No one is oh. Right. Go ahead. Show them what we got.
Every Christmas season, there are people who try to diminish the celebration of Jesus' birthday. We all know it. Well, here's the first evidence this year. A billboard put up by an atheist group telling children to skip church on Christmas Day.
You don't have to believe in Christianity, but you should. But is Christmas the right time to launch a billboard campaign to attack the religion and its followers? I mean, it happens every year now, and it's in...
By the way, it runs December 1st through December 24th, so it's strategically ending on Christmas Eve, an attack on the holiday.
I get a bit tired of people saying the war on Christmas. Real persecution is taking place. It's not about war on Christmas. It's about the slaughter of Christians. However, it's just irritating. It's annoying. I don't think it helps anyone in any way at all. Right. By the way, I assume the atheists are, during Ramadan, going to put billboards up saying, no need for Muhammad, no need for Muhammad. That is going to happen, isn't it?
They say there's no war on Christmas, and I do agree with you. I think we overuse the language war on Christmas, and there really is real persecution. But there absolutely is an effort to rail against Christmas, to go after Christmas. And you see it in the courthouses where they have to have their displays next to the nativity, their anti-Christmas displays. It's sure.
You know what's funny? These guys are so used to dishing out unfettered, ridiculous bullshit that they just don't know what happens when it finally comes back flying at them. They really don't get how to receive it. And boy, did Atheist America go all out. Go ahead.
It's a billboard. If you don't like it, you don't have to look at it. And our audience for this billboard is in the closet atheists. It's not even religious people anyway.
You're not the audience. You don't have to look at it. Okay, please. That's. It's funny because it's the same tactic that Seth Rogen and James Franco are using for the interview, and you can ask them all about the success on how that is rolling. But it's interesting because I still feel like in this war on Christmas, they're still sharpening up the candy canes, and they're bringing out the trees to impale, and it's a grand old rough old time right now. But after all is said and done, and everything kind of settles in, the bullshit networks definitely went to work, and none better than Michael Corrin, who not only mobilized the greatest of troops, but he gave the greatest of end messages as well.
It doesn't matter in the long run because they're going to burn in hell. No, I don't mean that. I am just joking.
We'll be right back.